Hi, Ashley.
Hello. It is. Okay, so it is recording. So I'm super excited to go over some things this morning. I actually have like a bazillion things in my brain right now. And I'll go over that part in a minute. Okay. All right, so I have a to-do list, but per usual, we need to start with our I ams, and I actually took some notes on the I ams for positive affirmations is what I finished 2 different books this week, and that's never happened, but I finished 2 at one time because one's an audio and one's a real, because I have to have both. Like, I have to have one for the car and I have to have one for when I'm sitting in a doctor's office and I have nothing better to do. So I ended up finishing 2 in 1 week, and they were really good. But then I was like, well, what am I going to read now? Because I basically crossed all the books off my list. So I just looked on my Audible, and I found one from Brian Tracy. And y'all, he talks really fast. Like, you got to keep up with this man. And the thing is he's got so much good stuff, and you're driving when you're listening to, or I'm driving when I'm listening to anything on Audible. But anyway, so I tried to remember as much as I could and maybe jot it down a little bit while I was driving, but we'll pretend like I didn't. And anyway, okay, so he said that I don't know who it was. Like I said, I can't jot down quite everything whenever I'm driving, but that he had someone he was working with for a long time, and he said that whenever he got them to, like, even sit in the car before they went in for their meeting and just say, I am great, I am so good at this, I'm going to do a great job, I'm going to present this the way it needs to be presented, I am all these things, they always came out with more success because they had enforced their thought process, and were more confident. And when you're more confident, you're more persuasive, and you're also, you give better vibes. So I want everyone to write down your I ams, and then I have a twist on that for after we get done. Hey, Charlie. Okay, so guys, if you just hopped on, we're just finishing up our I ams. Okay, so now what I want you to do is, instead of doing and on top of, additionally to our I ams, I want you to write down 5 things that you are thankful for that happened, or you realized, or whatever, within the last 24 hours. And it cannot be like my mom, my dad, whatever. It has to be something that you can really dig into that you are actually thankful for. Maybe your teacher pointed out, or your kid's teacher pointed out that they were working super hard. Well, maybe you're thankful for that. Or someone did something really nice for you. You're thankful for that. Or you got some really good news, or whatever it is. Just write down 5 things that you were thankful for in the last 24 hours. This just kind of fills your cup and reminds you, how blessed you are. And I will give y'all like 3 minutes to do that because it took me a little while this morning when I was doing it. And one of the things that I wrote down this morning was family dinner. We were able to actually sit down as a family of 8 at our dining room table for the first time in like 3 months. And so when I was thinking about that this morning, I was like, dang, that was awesome. I haven't been able to do that, like sit down and have supper with my family in that long, because we've been gone every single day. So that was one of my thankful fors this morning. Okay, so all right, now moving on. This is something I started a couple weeks ago, and it's been really helpful for me to keep up with who I feel like I should, add to my leads list, add to follow up with list, whatever it may be. I am always on the go. So I may see something or someone's post, and instead of like saying, oh gosh, I got to write this down or I'm going to forget them, what I've been doing is just screenshotting either their profile or whatever the post was, so that I can go back and write them down on my leads or follow-up list, and why I need to follow up with them, or what connection I can make with that. Another thing that I got off the other hold on, Brim. The other Zoom I did this morning was a plan of action for Friday mornings. So on Friday mornings, they said their main goal on Friday is to find 3 people to add to their VIP list. 3 people that they think might be good at this. 3 people that might be quit. 3 people that might be good at it, 3 people that they think would be willing to work the business kind of thing, and focusing on them and making point, like it's just your follow-up list or your leads list or whatever, finding ways to be personable with them. But you start on Friday and you work with those 3 people, and you touch them on Friday, you find a way to connect with them on Saturday, you find a way to connect with them on Sunday. Then, you find another way on Monday, and then on Tuesday, and they have a event on every Thursday, like a prospector third-party validation type event. So then on Thursday, they follow up with them or touch them or, keep in direct contact with them, never mentioning the business. But come on Thursday morning, hey, they shoot them a message and they say, hey, this is what I'm doing. I thought you might be interested in checking it out. It's going to be fun and super short, and we got some games and giveaways. So that's something I think I may try to work on today, is just finding 3 people that I feel like might be able to go in a category. And I have this folder, and I put my own tabs on it. And there are some people that one day will join me, and I know they will. And so I have this like potential promoter list, and that's where they would go in my personal binder, is where my potential promoters are, because I know they would be rock stars. They just have to have faith in the product. I don't know what time. I don't think my. Also, another thing is plan out your posts for the day. In the morning, go ahead and know what you're going to post for your 3 times a day. And by doing that, you are able to, by writing down your post, you can go back. Like, I use my notes on my phone. This has been super effective for me because, when you do this, you can do it in your notes. You copy and paste it when it's time for you to post, but you can go back and you can, change some words up, make it sound better, or, reread it and think, oh, maybe I should add this or take away that. Anyway, whenever you plan your post like that, you are more effectively able to reach different people, because you're more focused on, well, maybe I shouldn't say this, or that sounds good. And also another thing is find reasons and opportunities to be able to, like, take a picture of something or to share something. Like yesterday I shared, it was a post of, when I came home from school yesterday, I went to the garden and picked the okra and the tomatoes and the peppers, and my post was a picture of those, and it basically just said, what if I didn't plant the garden? How could I go out there and pick the vegetables? So, be purposeful about what seeds you're planting so that you can harvest them. What? Okay, hold on. So yes, all right. So another thing I am loving doing is sending out thank you cards. I've been sending out 3 a week for the past couple weeks, and y'all getting those messages back from people who say, hey, I just got your card and that was so sweet. I'm so thankful for you. I got one back from every single person I sent them to, and that fills your cup back up, right? You're investing in someone else by sending them a little thank you card with whatever 50-cent stamp on it, whatever it is it costs. And you are investing in them. You're making them feel important because you went out of your way to put that mail in the mailbox. And then they come back, and then somehow it bounces back to you, and it fills you back up because you realize that you did invest in them and you made them feel good. Therefore, you feel good. It's all kind of part of the psychology thing. So I spend $1.50 a week mailing out these thank you cards and tell them how much I appreciate it. I make them very personable, to them, why I'm thankful for them, what they've done, whatever. And I only do 3 a week. I've only committed to 3 a week so that I can invest the time somewhere in that week to write out 3 thank you cards. Also, super fun. All right, so everyone is already getting Christmas on their brain. I've already got Christmas on my brain. Christmas is my jam. I am currently, I've got different versions of it, but I am currently writing out a customer and promoter list. Mama, I'm down here. I know you are. A customer and promoter list with their name and their address, so that I can send them Christmas cards. I've got our family photo scheduled, and I'm gonna obviously put a picture of our family on there, and then the extra thing that I'm gonna do is I'm going to type out a year summary for my family, like what everyone did, the big accomplishments, the whatever I feel is important, and not make it super long or anything, but just a piece of paper, a normal piece of paper worth. What made me think about this was when I was a kid, we had this woman that we never saw very much, but we just loved her. And every year she sent us a summary of their year. And it was so interesting to read all the cool things that they were able to do and see, and the life that they were living. And they were not in multi-level marketing. I'll throw that out there. They just lived a normal life. They were, whatever. Anyway, so she would send us a Christmas card, but then she would include that letter in there, and it always just made us remember them. Like every year when Christmas came around, we just knew that we were going to get a summary of their life, and it was fun. And so I am going to implement that this year. So I'm going ahead and getting started on my names and my addresses. I mean, I always send out Christmas cards to my family, but this year's going to be a little bigger because I just have a lot of people I'm thankful for and I want to share with. And it also gives them an insight into my life, because I've had a crazy, awesome year. I have had a crazy, awesome year. Lots of firsts for us. And I'm excited to be able to share that with people, and of course, I'll make it as humble as possible, but I am thankful for those opportunities and the chances that I got. And, like flying on an airplane for the first time, going out of the country with a passport for the first time. I mean, like, there's been a lot of big firsts for us. Okay, so I got the okay, so now I got a little bit of time. I'm only committing to 30-minute Zooms at this point, because I don't know if I can stay concentrated enough past that. So we still have some time. Okay, so I was going to go over some notes from my Audible book yesterday. This one was from Brian Tracy. I don't remember the title of it, but I think it was The Psychology of Selling. I can look that up real quick. Yes, The Psychology of Selling by Brian Tracy. Here's some interesting things to help us stay on task, because it is getting that time where we've got to draw in interest, because it's Christmas and people want to be able to not have to go rack up credit cards and whatever to buy their Christmas. So we have a perfect opportunity here to help people not have to do that. And I was super thankful for this last year for my Christmas, and it's been a game changer for me. So I want to share that. I hate to preach on a choir. I cannot stand to watch people jump from business to business and expect everybody to believe that they've got the next best thing. Because how can you believe in everybody's products that much? I don't mean that, ugly, but I love our products. I love our business model, and I take them every single day. There's never been a time in my life where I was able to be consistent with anything until now, because I feel better. So therefore, I have a super strong testimony in it. And when I see my friends jumping from one company to another, hoping that they get lucky, you're not going to get lucky. You've got to know what you're doing and do it well. So these are some really good tips on how to do that, because half the battle is believing in your product and knowing that you have a good product worth sharing. And the other half of it is knowing how to effectively share that with people. So, all right, so who's more motivated to close a goal? He said, write down 100 reasons why you've got to close a goal. 100 specific reasons why you need to close this goal, whatever this goal is. He said, who is more motivated to close that goal? A person that has 2 or 3 reasons, or a person that has 100 reasons why that goal needs to be closed? And obviously it's the person with 100 reasons, because they can think of 100 reasons that goal is important to them, or how that goal is going to change their life. If you've only got 2 or 3, then you can probably wash it off as a loss, and it wouldn't be a big deal because you only had 2 or 3 things in your mind that were invested in this goal. But if you got 100, it's going to be a big deal, and it's going to hurt if you don't achieve that goal. So by doing that, it gets you motivated to close it. Okay, and then he said, we need to break down our reasons and then turn them into smaller reasons. So your big reason might be your family. But then you're going to break that down to your husband and your kids, or your wife, or whatever, and you're going to break that down again. And then what does your husband need? Well, my husband needs to quit driving in the middle of the night. Okay, it's not safe, and I don't like it, and that's my why on that. But my kids need me to be able to show up for them and be there for everything, and maybe give them more one-on-one time or whatever. And if I worked a full-time job, I would not be able to do that. And then if I didn't bring in the extra income that my family needed, then I wouldn't be able to do that. So you just got to take your big goals and then break them down into another level. So you got a big goal, break it down. So maybe you got some bigger ones going across here, and then each one of those, you're going to break them down again. And that's how you're going to come up with your 100 reasons. Okay. And then the self-affirmations, I like myself and I'm a great salesman. Really preaching to yourself, especially when you're fixing to talk to somebody about it. If you're not in a good place with yourself, it's really hard to be convincing and to let someone else know that you truly do feel how you feel about the product or whatever you're talking about even. And keep telling yourself that you're the best. Professional selling does not leave buyers remorse. They are confident. So what he meant by this was, if you sell someone something and you are professional and you know what you're talking about and you are adamant and there's nothing that's going to sway you, your buyer is not going to walk away like, oh no, did I just waste my money? Oh no. Instead, they're going to walk away with, oh, I can't wait to get this. I can't wait to try this. It's going to be so great. So executing that well is important, because if they buy all right, well, I'm the exception to that, because I bought a product thinking it wasn't going to work. I bought a product because I wanted to help a friend. I was convinced it wasn't going to work for me, and I did have buyer's remorse. I was just anticipating the worst, and then it came, and I took it, and it worked, and I was amazed, and I was grateful, and happy, and so on and so forth. So I'm the exception to that rule, but I can relate to the buyer's remorse part, because I was like, oh gosh, did I just waste my money for real? I know I wanted to help somebody, but I did not have that money to waste. So whenever I am trying to share the steps and the products with people, I want to leave them confidently. And I thought that message standed out really loud in his thing. Okay, and then he says, read 30 minutes a day. It keeps your ideas sharp. Reading is how we shape our minds. We transform our lives through simply reading. And my mom's always told me this my whole life, my dad too, that reading is your gateway to the rest of the world. When you read, you sharpen the tools that you already have, whether it's being able to communicate better. Maybe it increases your vocabulary. There's so many things that reading can do. It gets your mind rolling and your wheels spinning. And then in turn, that might be where your next great idea comes from, because you read something that had you inspired. It got you moving. So he said at least 30 minutes a day, and that can double your income. He said he had a man do 2 year, he did it for 30 minutes and he watched his income double. Then he did it for an hour for after a while, and he watched his income double again. So then now to this day, he spends 2 hours reading every morning. He gets up super early and he reads for 2 hours, and I think I'm not sure what the statistic on that one was, but he makes a lot of money.
I said hello.
Yeah, she said hello, guys. Quit. The fear of loss has to be outweighed by their gain. Or maybe I wrote that backwards. Their gain has to outweigh their fear of loss. So that goes back to the buyer's remorse. They've got to know that they're fixing to gain something impeccable to be ready to take the plunge and get on this journey with you. So, the third party validation is huge. Getting someone to share with them their experiences, find an event, find something that you can do to give them, the third party validation. For me, that has been the game changer in my business, is being able to connect them with someone else that either had a similar story or has been here a lot longer, right? So, and then the last thing I have for today is, do you want to catch a whole bunch of minnows, or do you want to catch a really big whale that's going to fill up your whole boat? So do you want a bunch of minnows that can fill up your bucket, or do you want one huge whale that will fill up the entire boat? And what that means is, make sure that you know where you're investing your time and in trying to grow your business, because another analogy was you've got red apples. Your red apple is someone that's just ready. They're just ready to join you, to start the products, to do the business, whatever. They are just ready. And most people are not red apples. Most people are green apples. Green apples need more information. Green apples need more exposure. Green apples need people, the third party validation. Maybe they need some more information on the ingredients, or they want to see, how your life is with the products in it, because they're just now getting introduced to it. So green apples are the majority of the kind of apples you're going to have to deal with. And then there's rotten apples. There's the people that are going to bug you all day long, but they're never going to either order, or they will read your messages and they will respond, but they're really just wasting your time. And you've got to figure out which ones are green and which ones are rotten, and, focus on finding your whale and not just playing around with a whole bunch of minnows. Okay, guys, so I'm going to end